All right, so we're back again, putting in the work. Just a quick update. We're doing some back testing in February, NASDAQ and S&P futures. Just getting more familiar with my setup, meaning the tools that I'm using to trade. For the most part, it's kind of a hyper scalping strategy. So if you're with a broker or a prop firm that doesn't allow you to hold trades for less than 21 seconds, sometimes that could be a problem. But that being said, be careful tonight at Sunday open of the futures market. It's Sunday, March 1st. If you didn't know, the Iranian supreme leader was assassinated by a joint US Israeli military operation. Trump's calling for Iranian regime change. History of recent conflicts or actions, military actions against or in the region of the Middle East from the US and Israel, um, has led to an initial sell off, followed by a recovery once uncertainty and diminishes and that the region's stabilized. So you might likely see some risk off because it looks like the situation is not stabilizing, and there was attack in Texas that killed a few, injured a few. I don't know the exact details. You could check it out. Might have been terrorist related, which is a problem. Some American soldiers were killed, I believe, at the Kuwait bases, where the U.S. bases are in Kuwait. There's protests in Iraq going on at the U.S. Embassy about the assassination of the Iranian leader. And there's also some concerns out in the seas because ships may not be able to travel through certain areas. Again, it's not my expertise, but that's the big picture. So have a history here of some things that happen. We won't go over into all those, but essentially the drill down is the highest likely probability is that the market is going to drop and gap down even farther due to the uncertainty and the fact that we may be at war with a country in the Middle East. So just be very, very careful today in your trading. Um, Maybe size down. Volatility is probably going to increase as well. So yeah, sizing down, widen your stops, and expect volatility and manage your risk well, because that's all that really matters. Making sure you don't lose all your money. So with that being said, we're going back to our back testing. Um, Using Deepcharts, this is a daily profile chart using TPO. On the right, I have a 3-month composite volume profile, and we kind of have some levels identified on the long term or medium term. And currently, the price is on this dotted orange line at around 24,900. Um, Looks like we came up and tried to test that near that 25,000 mark and got rejected down. Now we're at the value area high of the previous day. Question is, do we break through that 2,500 or continue to move down towards this 24,200, 24,300 range? On the 90-day profile, you can see that we are kind of, I guess you would say, I don't use the terms oversold, but we're outside of the value area. We're in price discovery from this long term value range. You can see we're just stepping down, but we're starting to build a wider base here, which obviously this is old data. This is the beginning of February. I don't recall what happened. Like I always say, I know we've been bouncing back and forth, but up until now in this range since like October 10th. So I think this covers up until November 25th, I believe. Or November, excuse me, November 11th. So I think for the month prior, we were going through this up down phase as well, just ranging. So I anticipate we stay in this range because of what happened from October 10th until this point, or up until this point. And we already did some back testing on this day. So we'll go to our chart. And just to review, as I always do, if this is the first time you're checking in, I have a daily profile on the left. So this is today's action of backtesting. I think what is it, February? Let's pull this up here. February 5th, I believe. Okay, February 6th. So we're running a real-time tick by tick data replay of each day of the February month, slowly, primarily focusing on the first 2 hours or first from 9:30 to 12 Eastern time, and then again maybe for the power hour from 3 to 4 Eastern time. If you look at this chart, what you're going to see are a few different things. This is the speed of tape indicator. So when a lot of volume stepping in, we're going to see it here. A lot of actions taking place. Has a couple standard deviations, and you're going to see some fat candles. Fatter candles means more volume in those candles, so they're volume-based candles, and you're going to see the colors that are deeper or lighter, which refer to the delta, the aggressive buying and selling pressure. So it's not just up down candles. So we both have aggressive and buying who won that candle, and that candle is a 40 tick candle. So whenever it moves 40 ticks in price, it hits that 41st tick, it creates a new bar, and either creates the new bar going up or 40 ticks going down. If it ranges within that 40 tick range, it's just a new bar isn't printed. So they're not time based, they are range based. I think I need to fix this mic here for a second. Excuse me. All right, so we currently set the initial balance for the day. That initial balance is from this green line all the way up to this purple line. And if we draw a fib on it, the Fibonacci line, I just have a few levels. It's not the traditional fib. I split it 30, 50, 70, 100, 0. We're currently at the 70% line. So we retrace down to 70%. Do we have more room to the downside? We shall see. We do have a low volume node. This is interesting, where there has been high volume in the past as well. We've had some absorption on this line as well, and it's acted as a point where sellers stepped in multiple times, but buyers broke back through it, and now it looks like we're staying above it. So it wouldn't surprise me if we break out to the top. It also wouldn't surprise me if we continue to drop down lower. And also wouldn't surprise me if we just consolidate in this range for the rest of the day. So it's 10:49 Eastern time. We're going to run it until noon Eastern time. Then we'll speed it up to 3 Eastern time and run it from 3 to 4. And then that'll be it for this video, just to finish this day up. And then our next stream, whenever I have the energy to do it, we'll start with February 7th. So let's run the speed of tape. So these red circles are aggregated big trades from a single entity. Looks like 110 contracts were executed by one individual, and a selling pressure is winning. Lots of volume, heavy aggressive selling pressure, and the volume is continuing. And we just ripped through that zone that we were just talking about, which was protected by buyers previously. Now we come down to a previous effort zone where aggressive buyers, um, one entity, stepped in here to protect and move the price up. So this is a level where if we see a little bit aggressive buying, we may want to take a move back upwards. We'll wait to see. And the tape is not moving too fast right now. It's an average speed, and it printed a big purple effort zone, meaning that there was a lot of effort to push the price down. That zone just got broke. We're still pretty close to it, so I wouldn't validate it yet, but likely if it breaks this green candle, this 40 range green candle, I would probably venture to say that we're going to look for a little pullback and an opportunity to go back up towards the top of the initial balance. Again, the speed of is real-time market speed, 1x. Looks like we're holding this VWAP. This is the daily VWAP, by the way, this small yellow dash line. So we're holding above the VWAP. I'd like to see us break this high and essentially this green 40 range candle. And we might be able to take a, I don't know, I'm cautious of this zone that I have highlighted here. It was this low volume node where we just ripped through it and didn't have a reaction at all. So maybe we come back to it, work our way back down towards the value area low for the day. So there's some scenarios here, right? You always have to plan out all of the things that could possibly happen or what you see. So pretty high volume node here. Lots of volume traded in this range before we moved up. So we failed to establish higher value. We tried to break out. It failed and came back down to a previous area where we spent a lot of time cucking around, multiple mitigations. You can kind of see it right here. We tap into this, multiple mitigations of the same area. And now we are moving lower. We're now to the midpoint of the initial balance. Actually, this was the midpoint of the initial balance. But I'm not sure why. Maybe my lines are wrong. But I think this line right here, you can't really see it because of the daily volume profile. That says the initial balance midpoint. So this is actually the midpoint of the initial balance. I'm not sure my fib lines are incorrect. So we have a little bit of initial aggressive selling, and we had a strong response. So there were some buyers waiting here, but the sellers just continue to push price down with force and speed and effort. This is where we're going to look to take a short position. Put our stop loss behind this strong down effort candle. Here we made a mistake here. We don't want to be in that trade. It's supposed to be a limit sell. And now that we see that green zone print, we're kind of out. So here's what I think. When you see these green effort and purple effort zones stack up on each other, it's a good chance we're just going to consolidate. So from my back testing, I kind of just stay away from those areas unless they line up with something else that's important. Sellers definitely have control. Buyers are trying to step in here. As you can see, it's a green candle and there's volume, but there are aggressive sellers that are just, or excuse me, passive sellers and potentially some aggressive sellers that are just not letting the price push back up. So we're kind of in this little consolidation area, as I mentioned before. Now, what we broke through that range, now we break through the purple zone, coming back up to this line of reference. See how we react. Aggressive buyers and volume pushing the price back up. We print another green zone stacked next to this large purple effort zone. The speed has decreased. And buyers are slowly moving the price back up. So we had a strong reaction off 50% of the initial balance range. We left this green zone after cucking around for a few minutes. We could expect a pullback back into the 50% or attempting to break back into this previous range of multiple mitigations and cucking. So if I'm interested in anything at all right here, it would be something like this. We have this aggressive selling pressure here. The price just rips down, but it may not come back. We do have this big imbalance here that we probably going to tap back into before returning lower. I could see a short back down to this area as well from up here. So we're back into this little imbalance area. There still may be some sellers up here to protect. That was our trade, right? But we didn't get the return to the zone, so I don't know if we want to take it again. Selling it for the stepping in. It just ripped through that little purple effort zone, turning back to this area where we find some sellers as well as buyers. Who's still here? It does look like buyers have the upper hand. I just don't like this range, right? I just don't like it. So we bring back the daily volume profile, and we're basically in the middle of value. So we're not fucking around here. So we'll speed it up a little bit because I'm really not interested unless we come back to one of these value area extremes. So for the speed of time, we're going to speed it up to 40x. Okay, so now we returned up to the value area high. Initial balance is up here. We're looking for a reaction off of this node. Right at the edge of value. Essentially bounced right off of it or rejected from it. Sellers are getting absorbed here. Price is moving back up towards the initial balance high. Aggressive buyers stepping in at the top. Speed of tape, an effort to the upside increasing. We retest the level where and big players stepped in to try to push the price up. Passive sellers are waiting for them. And it's 11 a.m. So there's another hour before New York goes to lunch in this session. So if price breaks back into the zone, do we take a move back to the point of control, maybe between these two lines? I don't think it's out of the question, but right now we're remaining outside of the initial balance, excuse me, outside of the value area for the session. And we still have this zone at the point of control. So if anything, looking at the price action, it looks like sellers are having a little bit more success than the buyers, but we're still outside of the value area. Going for another retest. And buyers push it back up to the initial balance and step in strongly with aggressive buying pressure. So now we have a zone with effort that pushed the price up higher outside of the value. So now we're in discovery and we're going to look for a little pullback retest of this area where big players stepped in. So we have lots of big aggregated orders. Look at this. This is 606 contracts. I wouldn't be opposed to just jumping in right now because this is insane, right? We don't have a lot of selling pressure here. See lots of aggregated big trades happening at the top of the range outside of the initial balance. So an entry even at this level to me would be sufficient. The more conservative entry would be around here with the stop loss behind the area where sellers were absorbed. So that's 460. Now we have this level up here. So when the initial balance gets broken, it's a single break about 49% of the time, and the bias is to the upside. So therefore, we would be looking for a breakout all the way up to this extension point. Now we're going to follow it up. We're just going to follow it up. And if we get one good trade in here, that's our day. So this is less of a micro scalp. Do expect to have a little bit of a battle here now that we see these effort zones. So aggressive sellers are stepping in, but they're being absorbed for the moment. Speed of tape, fairly calm. Maybe a little bit of a rest. Absorption of aggressive sellers. Buyers are still protecting, right? We have this whole, lots of buyers here. So we're going to reduce our risk a little bit. We have protection, right? We have all of these buyers that are likely to jump back in. We have sellers that were absorbed, and we have a move right here where we started to drive up. Once price closes above this area, I will move the stop up to break even. Here it might have been nice to have two contracts on, but it's okay. It's just practice, food for thought. Now we break it into worst case scenario, we make $100. There's nothing that is stopping price from coming all the way back down here and retesting this zone. If it does, we would probably re-enter. And I do think here you can even lock in a little bit more profit. Just kind of follow it up and be very conservative. So we're right at that 2,500 level. Actually, knowing that we're going to bounce right here, we're going to lock in. This is a resistance zone, 25,000. It's a big number. I don't know why I don't have a level marked here, but it's 25,000, right? So something I should have paid attention to. So we're gonna be in this zone for a while. We're happy to get back in if we break out of this zone, come back and retest it and push up higher, or re-enter if price drops down into our green effort zone to push back up higher as well. Zooming out on a daily view, you can see we broke through this level with lots of aggressive pressure, and we're right at that 25,000 level. Zooming out to previous days, we broke the previous day high, and we have a point of control from the day prior right here. We have a low volume node where some sellers did step in, actually right where we're at right now. So that's a high volume node. We also have this low volume node. So this area, what I see is this whole area right here is a danger zone. So we did have some more aggressive step in at this 2511 and this 2500. So they are making a little bit of progress here, but there are sellers there that are meeting them. So it's not 100% confidence wise, but everything is leading for us to move up towards this 2570 area or this 2590 area. So interesting. It did tap into the zone and just continue up. So this would have been a nice trade. This could be an area where we could get back in if we see some more aggressive buyers step back in. So if these big players are still here and willing to move the price up, we also have some aggressive buyers higher, some aggressive sellers stepping in down here in this battle zone. Let's remove that zone. We don't need that there. So we can see that there's just a lot of aggressive effort in this area right here. More buyers than sellers. And we had a strong push back down. So the value area has changed for the day. It's moved up and migrated up. Point of control's migrated up. The value area high is migrated up. So a short from here is now the question, but because the bias is still, oh, well, my bias is bullish, but we're breaking back into the initial balance range. So we broke it, retested it, broke it again, retested it. Just tap back into that selling zone, high effort selling zone. I would like to see a retest up here and a fail or aggressive push up to where I'd enter another long to try to take it up to the protection level. So holding the VWAP, excuse me, the point of control, still kind of hanging in that battle zone area, that danger zone that I spoke to. It's amazing how much energy it takes to follow the market and just be that focused. Like I've noticed that after I've done these 1-2 hour backtesting sessions, I'm just exhausted. So trying to train the brain to have the endurance to not wander off and not lose focus. It's tough. Practice. Just like if you want to run a marathon, you got to run a lot to be able to make it without hurting yourself. So we're close to that area I'd like to see get retested. So we're coming back up to the new value area high for the session. I have another indicator. We'll throw this one up there. It's called important levels. This is the daily high and the daily value area high and the daily point of control and the previous day high. So we got the pop, and I'm going to smash market buy here because I do think we continue to extend up. So sometimes these zones you have to use some common sense to realize that just because there was effort doesn't mean it's an entry zone. You don't want to take every single zone that you see. You still want to kind of match it up to your bias, and we're going to protect ourselves. Where should we protect ourselves? Behind this zone, probably. Um, how much risk do we want to take on? That's 400. Yeah, I'm comfortable there. And we're going to see if we can push to this extension level. And if we get above this wick, we'll start to trail it up and reduce the risk even more as price moves up. There's no guarantee that we make that protection extension level, but what we see is lots of aggressive buyers push the price higher. Aggressive sellers try to step in, get rejected. Price pushes higher. We still have even more aggressive buyers at higher prices. Sellers step in, buyers protecting the level and continuing to try to drive and discover value higher today. Let's take a view at our profile chart, and we can see that value is now being established above previous day value area high. We're returning to 2 days past. Actually, we've eclipsed the point of control from 2 days ago. And I guess the next target would be the value area high. Just make that blue. Or this high volume node, like maybe right there. Maybe somewhere around there. It's like another zone. Is that the same? No, zone printed. We just took that for the zone printed, but I like that. Zone printed, but now we are seeing some aggressive sellers step in. We did put our stop back a ways, protected behind all these entities that stepped in with large size and volume to push the price up. We can see lots of buyers here. They got absorbed, pushed the price back up, came back down to that same level. Sellers trying to move back through that zone, but buyers are protecting it. We do have a battle. It's never easy. So anything could happen. Could definitely take an L here. Here's the thing. We're back into the value area. And this is our last line of defense, basically, right here. This red line. This is it. We had about 30 more minutes in the morning uh, of the session. Likely to get stopped out here. And we take a L. So maybe we come back to retest this 25. Now we're back inside 25,000, aren't we? So we're retesting that 25K now. Maybe I didn't have my stop wide enough, but need to so many things to pay attention. So 25K is we drop back below it. Um Looks like that's the extent of the extension for now. 60-point pullback back to this cuck zone, point of control. So I believe the stats are 80% of the time we're going to get reversion back to the mean. 20% of the time we're actually going to get a breakout. So we had a little bit of extension, but it's a failed auction. We return back to value, the higher end of value. And the reason why I'm not entering a position here is because we're near the point of control. And I could see us rotating back down to, where's the VWAP? VWAP is down here, 24,880. So we're kind of hanging out that 25K area. Point of control is so close to the value area high that shorting it, there's just not a lot of room. And I have to take on more risk to this swing high to take a short back to the. I think we could do it here though. But we see aggressive buyers stepping in. Again, speed of tape increasing. Let's see if they can break through or we get another rejection. So now we have some space down to the POC. So if we get another rejection, this is tricky right here. This is tricky. Again, we are starting to have another battle here at the top of the range. Price is just skirting the top of the value area. It could go either way. It really could. We had aggressive sellers step in here to exactly where they stepped in, making an equal high. Looks like there's a lot of more aggressive selling happening, but the price is not pushing down. Speed of tape slowing down a bit. Let's draw a little profile here. Oh shit, that hurt my lower back. Stretch time. Oh. Sucks when you sneeze and your lower back goes like, oh. Maybe I should sit down for a minute. So when I look at those effort zones, purple and green, I doesn't give me a lot of confidence to know which direction has control. Still have the bullish bias. But we had aggressive sellers step in right here. We had them step in right here. So it's kind of a question, to be honest. And it even it was a nice 30-point push above the 25,000 mark, but we are making lower highs. And it's looking pretty strong to extend higher right now. So we're going to jump in. We're going to take a shot here. We're going to put our stop loss behind this big green candle. We're going to take our profit at the zone that we've established. So it's about a 1 to 1, a little less. Actually think that's a little tight. I don't know. I think that's too conservative. 450 to win 680. Need to hold that line right there. Twenty-three more minutes till New York goes to lunch. I mean, this would be the ultimate stop. I want to keep it 1 to 1. So this is 665. So a little bit more protection here, a little bit more risk. Still outside of value, starting to build some volume up here. We do need to hold above this green line though. Like to move my risk below this swing point. But we're gonna wait until we retest this high here. And that's a lot of aggressive orders. That was 729 contracts executed by one entity in a short period of time. That's pretty strong. So we want to give ourselves some room because I do think uh, we're going to continue to extend a little bit higher. There's just lots of buying pressure up here right now. So that's where I think the probabilities are. So we're going to give us a little bit of room. And hopefully we can take it up to this zone right here, which was a VWAP from a previous day. I think it's important to backtest at the speed of the market, basically in real time. So you can start to feel the speed of the price movement. I think that's another important component. And that's another reason I like these 40 range bars because they're not time based. So if there's a lot going on, they're going to print like really fast, which gives you good information. And if the market's moving really slow or it's starting to slow down, you can see that. Helps you identify exhaustion areas or where we're going to start to hang out for a bit and take a break. All right, so we're back to that area where we had an entity pop in with 729 contracts in a very short period of time. Like to see a little snap and push through the wall here. Want to just see a nice pop, like a battering ram trying to break down the castle entry. And send the troops in and push them up to that 2570 level. So I think we can reduce risk. We've broke this high right above the blue line. we printed another zone and we have a swing down here below. So we're going to reduce risk a little bit. And I think another valid option here is to add to the position. When we see this effort zone print, and you can see that buyers are stepping in higher and higher and higher. And how high does it go is the question. Are we at the top? I say innocent until proven guilty. So there's nothing that shows me that price isn't going to continue to move up at the moment. So we're going to reduce our risk to 275 to make 680. Considering we have this swing low, making higher lows, making higher highs. Looks like we're losing momentum. I'm using that ascending triangle. It doesn't look the best, or wedge, whatever you want to call it. So we got stopped out. So we're taking it on the chin a little bit today, but we are managing risk well. So back into the value area we go. 15 minutes to lunch. Is this a pullback to continue up higher is the question. Do we take another shot is the question. This is an area I would be interested, essentially where this, turn that into, that's an area of interest to jump back in. Or are we at the top and we make a play to push price back down to the point of control down here? Are we done extending? I'm still not convinced. I just think, again, I put my stop too tight. I still think we have room to the upside. Can I get in? Is the question. This high delta node is acting as resist, or it's acting as a roadblock right now. There would be a nice spot. See if we respect this channel here. We get a nice little aggressive push here, and we can hold this channel. I may market smash in to try to take this up to this point of control in this low volume node that's establishing on this smaller volume profile along with the larger volume profile. They're kind of together, one and the same. We just need to see a move with some speed here. We got 13 minutes until lunchtime for New York. And we're gonna take it stop loss behind our green line, 475. Take profit up here. Retest. It's a little negative risk to reward play. And we'll speed the tape up on this just to save a little time. Looks like we're breaking through that zone. Can we hold it? Let's move up to 8x speed. We're just getting worked, right? So we're just getting worked. Um, yeah. So I was playing against those strong zones, selling zones. We're now breaking structure to the downside, returning towards the point of control, and it's moving pretty swiftly just before we get to lunch. All right. And we're going to consolidate again down here by the point of control until everybody returns from lunch. So completely got wrecked. Lessons learned, risk managed, and this now is red. This is invalid. We're going to speed up for an hour. So it's lunchtime. We're just going to range around. So interesting. We actually had a lunchtime move back up. Man, my timing is just really bad today. My direction is right, keeps extending to the top. I'm just not trading well. Retesting the high of the session. Sometimes you just got to know when to stay out. Speeding up the tape. Not interested in getting involved at this time. Apparently making lots of mistakes. Better in practice. The strong zone. We have a peak. Lots of buyers stepped in, protecting that zone. But we missed the zone, and price actually makes it near our initial projection. Still making higher highs. It's just like a lot of accumulation. Let's speed it up a little bit more to 40x. Not interested in trading right now. So we make it to that protection zone after all. And my bias was right. My entries and stops were very bad. And now I'm going to come back to 1x speed. I expect us to anticipate us. Here's what's interesting. The point of control is now migrated up even higher. Um, and it's right next to the value area high. So I'm kind of out right now. So we're going to go to 40x. Although we have a strong sell zone, not interested. Gonna likely just play out the rest of the day and try again tomorrow. Continuing to extend higher. 25-100. Notice we had this blue zone that we annotated from a previous day. Tap into that over here. That would be the end of the extension. But the POC is so close that it's not like we're gonna get a huge move out of it, and we don't really know. We got the weekly VWAP. We could also return there, right? Because our standard or extension average is all the way up here at 25,260. Just slowly creeping up. That's about 2 hours there. It's about a 2 hour slow grind up. Let's remove some drawings. It's just too much on the screen. Coming back to the daily profile, you can see we are nearing the blue line, value area high, a previous profile. And the point of control for the day is time wise, where price spent the most time is 24,920. So the point of control just migrated up. That's insane. So now the point of control is here. So we're running at 40x speed right now. It's 3:15 New York time. So I only have about another few minutes to watch this play out, but I'm essentially not interested in trading. We're just going to take our L's on the day and come back tomorrow or back test the next day. And so over the last 3 days of trading, we're up 5,500. We took a couple thousand L today. While that plays out, we'll take a look and options strategy report. Guess this is Friday. I didn't take that into effect, right? Or into account. So down 2,365 on the day. And if we start with the fourth here, we're up 6,115 for the last 3 days of trading. So not horrible, but we definitely took some L's today. So price, let's just take a look at what happened here. We'll pause this up. It's Friday for the week of trading. Coming back to our weekly profile, we essentially, oh, that's not the weekly profile. What the fuck? No, it's over here. We essentially closed out nearly exactly where I said we would or anticipated us. So my analysis is good. My timing and my location was horrible. Maybe I need to come back and watch this video again and see what the hell I was thinking and what the hell I was saying so that I can improve upon uh, my processes. That was painful, but we managed risk. So I'm happy with that. We had a plan. We tried to execute it. We lost more than we won today, but you can't win them all. So with that, we're going to close this video out. If you're here still and you watched it, thank you for taking the time to hang out and just listen to me babble on about trading. So have a good week. Sunday, be careful if you join the markets tonight, and take a little break because my brain is fried. Do some more back testing later and start another video, and that's going to be for the following week of February. So I believe that's 9 February is